Have you seen the news? Canada is welcoming Americans if you're fully vaccinated.
If you're thinking about crossing the border into Canada, you need to watch this and see everything that it entails. And we did it, and here we are, Cape Breton Highlands on the beach.
The border opened to fully vaccinated Americans as of August 9th with some requirements. Now, we crossed over into Canada over a month ago on July 8th, this summer on our way to Nova Scotia. Now, we were able to cross in July because I have dual citizenship. I was born in Canada to American parents. Now, we didn't have to quarantine because on July 5th, the government had a quarantine exemption for fully vaccinated Canadians if they had adequate proof of vaccination.
So once again, it has paid off that I married a Canadian. So what we want to do is share with you our personal experience, what we went through to cross the border. We are not experts. We want you to go to the source. We'll have links to the official websites in our description. But all the procedures, everything we had to do was well worth it. But actually, Larry did all the research. I just pretty much showed up and did what I was told.
Well, that's about like the first time ever though. Now, to do this, you have to be fully vaccinated. So you need either one shot of J&J or 2 shots of Moderna, Pfizer, or AstraZeneca. Now, if you have that and you have proof, you can get in and not even have to quarantine. Now, you're gonna have to scan or take a photo of your vaccination documents, and you're gonna have to know the dates of your first and second shot.
And you must be at least 14 days past your last shot. So if you have a 2 shot, you have to be 14 days past the second shot. Now, our first vaccination was in Tennessee, and I felt a little tingly. That could have been in my head. And then the second shot was in Maine, and I have to tell you, I was tired. I was wiped out for 2 days, but after that, I felt fine.
Now, the place to start is the Canadian Border Services Agency website, where you will have all the information that we talked about here, and it'll give you bullet points and checklists and things like that. So start there. Now, the other thing you're gonna have to do is download the ArriveCan app on your smartphone. That's the easiest way to do it. You can also do it through a web link on their website, but I recommend using the app. Now, after you download the app, you're gonna have to register, and then you're gonna have to give your email and send it back and forth and get your registration done. And then after you register it, you're gonna have to include the date and time of your arrival into Canada, which port of entry you're coming into, your passport information. It has this thing where it actually will scan your passport in the app. You're gonna have to upload your proof of vaccination document. It's gonna want a picture for your first dose and your second dose. Ours is on the same card, so we just put the same picture in twice. You're gonna need your vaccination dates and the country of vaccination, your mobile phone number. They're also gonna ask you a quarantine self-assessment. And then you're also gonna have to give a quarantine address and type. Now, you may be like, hold on, I thought we didn't have to quarantine. You still have to give a quarantine location in case you get to the border and they say, sorry, you don't qualify for the quarantine exemption, you still have to quarantine. So you have to have an address of a place to go to for quarantine. When we did it, we just gave my nephew's address in Nova Scotia, even though we didn't go there because we got the exemption. And if you've tested positive for COVID in the last 180 days, you're gonna have to put that information in there as well. Now, one tip, when they ask for country, both in the passport and your vaccination documents, if you type in the word United, like a bunch of other countries come up, but not the United States, you have to actually type in United States, and then the United States will show up. It's kind of weird. Pre-arrival testing. Okay, you have to have a pre-arrival test within 72 hours of crossing the border. Now, timing is really critical here. The test must be a molecular test. Now, the Border Services Agency website has a list of acceptable tests that they'll take, but it's kind of like medical mumbo jumbo, so it's really hard to figure out. It's usually better to ask the place where you're getting tested if it's a good test, and then show them the list. Now, we got a PCR test at Walgreens, in which I checked ahead of time that would be good. It takes 48 to 72 hours to get the results of the test from Walgreens. Now, we tested on a Monday morning and a Tuesday morning, and we did it before 11 a.m. because we found out that the tests are FedExed out to be processed at 11. So we want to make sure that we got tested and they got shipped out in the same day, so we didn't lose 24 hours.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're supposed to have a negative test within 72 hours of crossing. So that's why the timing is so crucial. So we thought, okay, we're getting tested on Monday, we'll cross on Wednesday. But luckily, the tech at Walgreens told us, you know what, some people are taking multiple tests. They'll take a test on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, just in case. And we took a test on Monday and Tuesday. And thank goodness we did that, because our Monday test got totally messed up. She like put the wrong names on the tubes or something.
Can you believe that? This is the same girl that told us
to take multiple tests.
Maybe that's why, because she's done this before.
Yeah. So luckily we took the test on Tuesday also, and that one proved that, you know, we had negative, so we went ahead and crossed the border.
Another tip is get your test done early in the week. That the tests are not processed, at least at Walgreens, on the weekends, so you kind of lose all of those days, and you need 72 hours. So it's better to do it on a Monday or a Tuesday, so you can cross on a Wednesday and a Thursday. You want to leave yourself a little bit of room there, for sure.
So have a staging area that's close to the border. Now, what's really important is that your staging area is flexible where you're waiting for your test. Because what happened to us, if we had, say, a state park reservation and we had to be out on Wednesday because we thought we were crossing on Wednesday, but then our test was no good and we had to cross on Thursday, we would have been in trouble for a day. So we were at a private park that was willing to, like, we said, hey, we might have to add more days, and they were fine. And the other thing is, you might want to have a backup reservation in case you do get turned away at the border. It could happen.
It definitely can happen, and people have been turned away at the border. Yeah. Either their documents aren't right, or they don't accept the test that they got. They don't accept their vaccination documents. You won't know until that person at the border looks at all your stuff and gives you okay. That's the only time you know you're good. So you might have to be turned around, so have a plan.
Are you ready? We are now at the point where we are crossing the border.
Now, as soon as your negative test comes in, either by email or by checking the website, you got to be ready to roll, because remember, timing is crucial. When you get to the border, you got to have your ArriveCAN receipt either on the app or printed from, if you did it on the website. You still have to have a quarantine plan. They're going to ask you about the address and what your quarantine plan is in case they refuse you the exemption for quarantine. Now, you have to have your proof of vaccination documents ready to show, have it all together for the person inspecting all your documents. Now, also have your pre-entry test. We had ours printed. We gave everything them printed, and she looked it over and it worked great. So make sure you have that ready. You also have to have, of course, your travel documents, your normal, to have your passport, stuff like that. Now, we also, because we had Scrappy, and they asked us if we had any pets.
They said, do you have any live animals?
Live animals, that's right, yeah. And Alice was smart. She knew ahead of time, because I guess you had researched this, to have a printed copy of our rabies vaccination. Yes. So she had to be vaccinated too.
Yeah, that's true.
According to the Canadian Border Services Agency website, you still have to get an arrival test. We had to do an arrival test, and I thought originally for the August 9th they were going to get rid of arrival testing, but when I checked it today, it is actually August 9th right now. They still had that on the website. Now, most land border crossings, they do not have a testing facility right there at the border. They're going to give you a kit. Some do, so check the website to see which land border crossings you can test right there, and you don't have to do the self-test through a Zoom call. Now, if you do have to do the self-test, they use a company called Switch Health. It's the best idea to register with Switch Health ahead of time. And then you're going to have to get to your destination and then get on a Zoom call with a nurse from Switch Health, and they have to watch you do the test and box it up, seal it, and package it, and then get it ready for shipment to the testing facility.
So make sure, since you have to do this Zoom, Skype, whatever service you wind up using, you have to have a good signal, because it's sort of like what we're doing here. They are going to watch you the whole time you do the test, and they need to be able to see you. So if your signal cuts in and out, they may negate the test. They actually watch you seal it up in a bag and everything. So you have to have a location with a good signal.
In the same app that you're doing the video call with the nurse, when you're all finished with the nurse, it'll prompt you for an address for a location to come and pick up your test. Now, Purolator's going to come and get it. Purolator's like their version of like FedEx. They're going to come and pick up your test, and we'll give you instructions on how to do that. Now, this is an important part that the border person didn't make that clear to me, and I had to look it up on the website. You do not have to wait for the results of your test to proceed to your final destination. You can go ahead. If you're approved at the border to enter without quarantining, the test is just like a precaution that they're taking. You can go ahead and do it. In addition to the entry requirements for entering Canada, each province has their own entry requirements. Now, we were entered from United States into New Brunswick, but our final destination was Nova Scotia. So even though going to New Brunswick, we didn't have to do the New Brunswick check-in, but we had to do the Nova Scotia safe check-in and upload all of our vaccination documents, to a very similar procedure we did with ArriveCan to be able to get into Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and so we actually went through 2 borders so far. So the New Brunswick one from Maine was no problem. It was like a legit border crossing, the gates there, the buildings, the guards, and it went really smoothly. We showed them all our documents. They gave us the little take-home test. She was super cool. So we're thinking, everyone said, oh, Nova Scotia crossing is just a little gate that they put up.
They're just gonna wave you through.
Yeah, they'll wave you through. But they saw us and they're like, pull over to the side, please.
Everybody else was getting waved through. Everybody in front of us.
Over to the
side.
side.
Go ahead. Yeah, you see the RV, or you over there.
Yeah, so we started to sweat, but basically all it was is, once again, they wanted to make sure that we had that safe check-in Nova Scotia, had our documents, and I think they had us pull over because they didn't want us to stop the line of traffic, you know, because they'd have to get out of their little booth to see our documents. But other than that, we had no problems.
Yeah, so Nova Scotia, you had to be fully vaccinated to come in without quarantining. And now we're going from Nova Scotia to PEI, so Prince Edward Island. So we had to go through the whole PEI pass requirement again, all same documents, vaccination documents or IDs and stuff like that, and prove that we're fully vaccinated before we can go into PEI. And we have to show our PEI pass when we cross the bridge from New Brunswick into PEI. Yeah. So why do we go through all this rigmarole? Well, just look behind us. It is gorgeous here, and the weather has been great. You know, the rest of the United States has been broiling this summer.
Yes.
We have rarely hit over the mid-70s the entire time we've been in Canada. Yeah. It has been gorgeous, and it's a beautiful. We're in the Maritime provinces. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And you probably already saw our video about New Brunswick, so you saw how beautiful it was there. And we recently had another video about Nova Scotia, and that section of Nova Scotia, we're in Cape Breton Highlands, which is another section of Nova Scotia. But like you said, we had like a couple days of high of 80, 82, and that's it. And we're on the beach, and it's gorgeous, and it's actually getting a little chilly.
Have you been waiting to get into Canada and been watching to see if Canada will let us Americans in? Please leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about coming to Canada this summer and enjoying the rest of the summer and the fall.
And like always, go ahead and tell me on Instagram or Facebook.
Now, we do lots of videos like this. This is a little bit unusual. We're on here at the beach, so this is actually pretty awesome. We do this kind of stuff. We do campground tours, product reviews, DIY projects, and of course, full-time RV living experiences. If you guys are into that kind of stuff, please consider hitting the subscribe button right down here. That would really help us out a lot. Now, I'll also leave a link right over here for something for you to check out next. And remember,
downsizing still makes sense.